Welcome once again to the DRH show. Today I'm joined by a yoga enthusiast, Neelu Kalra. Thanks for joining me.
Namaskar, Dennis. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, it's great to have you here, Neelu. You've written a number of
Thank
articles
you.
on Psychridge, so I pretty much know what you're doing. You've written a number of articles about yoga, about meditation, and obviously we will be talking about that. But let's kick this off with you telling us your background. Paint us a picture of your childhood, your trajectory in life, and how you ended up doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I am a yoga enthusiast and have been exploring the world of yoga and pranayama for more than 5 years now. I'm also an author at Infinium Growth. I have been born and brought up in Nagpur, which is the center of India. And after marriage, I moved to Mumbai. As a kid, I was always interested in extracurricular activities and was an athlete. I did my teacher training course, and I have also done my graduation in science and also did my BA in English literature. I was always inclined towards teaching profession, so I pursued teaching as my career path and taught in one of the renowned schools of Nagpur. Last year, recently we started with a YouTube channel with the intention of spreading awareness among people regarding yoga and pranayama. Actually, I never ever thought about it because it was a tough decision for me. I was never into any social networking sites until last year. I did not even had WhatsApp. But the reason why I started is that during COVID times, everyone was going through one or the other form of stress, including my family members. So I decided to start one online class for ladies, family, and friends, just out of passion and not as a business. So over the period of time, they started feeling better, both mentally and physically. And they were the ones who were after me and they wanted me to do something to spread awareness among people regarding yoga and pranayama. Initially, actually, I was very reluctant to do so and hesitant about it. But my husband coaxed me and finally I got convinced and decided to take a plunge. We are actually a team of 3 people, myself, my husband, and Mr. Brijesh Singh, who is the man behind the camera and the props and the editor. Initially, we thought we'll just make some reels for Instagram. But at the same time, Mr. Singh said, let's upload it on YouTube as well. So my first video was uploaded simultaneously on Insta and YouTube. Nothing was planned as such. We never ever thought that we would do something like this. But it just happened. I think it was destined.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
this is how my journey began, actually. And I remember that I always used to tell my husband that I want to do something for the society. But when, how, where, I never had any clue. So I think nature aligned with my thoughts. And this is how my journey began.
Absolutely, it's a beautiful journey indeed, Nilu. And I had a look at your YouTube channel. It's a thriving community for anyone who's also interested about
Yeah.
yoga and
Yoga.
meditation.
Yeah.
Just to kind of set the tone of our conversation, and especially for those who are not familiar, what's the difference between yoga and meditation?
Yoga. Yeah. Very nice question indeed. Difference between yoga and meditation is that in meditation is a very important part of yoga. These are all the tools: yoga, yoga asanas, meditation, pranayama, chanting. These will all lead us to the path of yoga, actually. Let me tell you what yoga is first. If we hear the term yoga, all different and exotic poses come to our mind, right? But it is much beyond our exotic poses. It literally means union. But the next question comes: union of what? Is it union of mind, body, and soul? But then the question is, mind and body are already connected. How? If something is going on in your mind, or you have anxiety issues or any sort of stress, or you are awaiting a result, the repercussions will be felt by your body in the form of fluctuations in your heartbeat, palpitations. BP will go up and down, and the butterflies in the stomach. And similarly, if something is wrong with any of the body part, or if you are experiencing any sort of pain, like stomach ache or any other pain, your mind will be focused on that. But then the next thing is that when something is already connected, we can see that mind and body are connected. Then whom are we trying to connect to, and with whom? Then some definitions of yoga say that it means finding self. But then you will say, oh, I already know who am I. What else do I need to find about myself? Then as a kid, most of us have heard stories regarding treasure hunting. How the king went all the ways and crossed the mountains in the form of hurdles, mountains, oceans, and rivers to get that hidden treasure. Nothing could stop him or demotivate him because he was totally and completely focused in that. And he finally managed to get that treasure. Yoga is just about finding that hidden treasure. The only difference is that the king went all the way outside looking for the treasure, and you have to find it right within us, because it lies right within each of us. And hurdles are in the form of layers. Just as how onion has got different layers, even we are made up of 5 layers, and we often refer to them as koshas. And anger, greed, lust, comparison, envy are all part of these layers. So it is not a one-day process. We need to keep working upon ourselves every day. And once we are able to rise above all these things, we'll able to connect with our true self. And once we are able to connect with ourselves, it is very easy to connect with the powerhouse of energy, that is the divine. And this is real yoga. So it is a consistent thing. And hence, I would say yoga is not a destination. It is a journey of life. It is not a workout. It is a work in. Hence, I named my channel as Yoga, the Journey Within. And yoga, meditation, yoga asanas, these are, as I mentioned earlier, are all the tools that will lead us to the path of yoga. This is all about yoga.
Okay, and that's a very comprehensive definition. Thank you for telling us what's the difference between yoga and meditation. But I just want to touch upon something, because you mentioned asanas. Because for someone who hasn't done yoga or done meditation, that's quite new to me. So what is asanas?
Yoga asanas are something has been carried on from ages. We have been following every pradipika, like hatha yoga pradipika, different texts have mentioned different things, but actually asana means what? Asana means we need to focus on all our body parts and become aware of it, along with coordination of breath and mind, body, and breath. This is all it about. This is all it is about. You need to just focus and be in that position for some time. Let me tell you, it is not gymnastics, what people think. Otherwise, all gymnasts would have been yogis. That is not true. You need to, if you are following a particular position, you need to be in this position for some time, becoming aware of your mind, your body, and soul. And that will, this is actually what asana means. It is not just that doing gymnastics, not at all. So it is not if people are unable to do those exotic poses, never mind. You can always be there in certain position, maintain it, be focused. Main thing is awareness, doing anything with focus and awareness. That will lead you to meditation itself. This is how it is all about.
Mm-hmm. Now,
hence, yoga, I said it is, sorry.
So sorry. No, I was just going to ask you, Neelu, because you said that you don't really have to do all of those poses. What about the time? How often and how long should we do asana?
Yeah, only let me tell you, 20 minutes of stretching is good enough for us to maintain good health and balance, because after all, yoga is all about balance and calming our mind. So you have to, even if you do it for 20 minutes, that is good enough. 20-minute stretches will really help you out. So people, addressing to those people as well, those who are unable to do the asanas or all the other forms of exercises, not necessarily. You can walk for some time. If you can do walking, any sort of exercise for 20 minutes is good enough to keep you mentally healthy and fit. Along with pranayama, I would certainly mention one should not miss out on pranayama, because it is the core of yoga.
Now let's talk about pranayama, because you mentioned about that, and I understand that this is just not just any other breathing. So how is pranayama different from normal breathing?
Yeah. First, let us discuss about what prana is and understand what prana is. Yeah. Prana is the life force, and because of which we are alive. If prana leaves our body, we all will die. So breath is let us understand what is the difference between breath and prana. Breath is a medium through which prana moves into our system. Suppose you have to travel from one place to another, or you wish to transport goods from one place to another. You need a vehicle for that, right? Similarly, for the prana to travel all over the body, it also needs a vehicle. So breath is a vehicle and prana is the passenger through which it moves throughout our body. And as far as breathing is concerned, it is a very natural thing which we all do continuously, right? It is involuntary, just like our heartbeat and any other physiological functions like digestion, elimination, assimilation. Whereas in yoga, conscious breathing with regulation of breath is called as pranayama. It is very, very voluntary and it is very much under our control. We all breathe, but the question is, are we breathing right? Not at all. Over the period of time, our breathing pattern has been altered, and there are various factors because of which it has been altered and it has eventually become shallow. That means we nowadays do chest breathing or thoracic breathing. Various factors which has altered are, we can name them as stress, anxiety, any form of stress, physical or emotional stress, environmental pollution, even wrong posture has added to it. Whereas in pranayama, what we do, we take a deep, long, and slow inhalation and deep, long, and slow exhalation. In doing that, what happens? It engages our diaphragm more, which is the main organ of muscle of respiration. And while practicing this, what will happen? Eventually, our lung will become more elastic. And more prana will enter into our system and it will enhance the prana into our system. More prana means more oxygen will reach to each and every cell of our body, and the organs will, of course, function at its best. You know, a healthy individual uses only 20% of its lung capacity at rest. Whereas with extensive exercises, we can use up to 70% of total lung capacity. In yoga philosophy, it is said, Vedic philosophy says that lifespan is not measured by the number of days we live, but by the number of breaths we take. So if we start practicing pranayama regularly, consistently, and with awareness, what will happen? Normal individual, on an average, if we see, they take 15 to 20 breaths in a minute. So if we keep practicing pranayama, it will reduce the number of breaths per minute. This will increase our lifespan. If we take the example of tortoise, it takes 2 or 3 breaths in a minute and live for 150 to 200 years. Whereas in case of dogs, they take 30 to 35 breaths in a minute and they live for 14 to 15 years. That means practicing pranayama will not only increase or enhance your lung capacity and longevity, but it is very good for your cardiovascular health, your nervous system. It will help you calming your mind and relaxing your mind. It stimulates your vagus nerve, which is the very important part of parasympathetic nervous system. That is the rest and relax response. Movement of diaphragm up and down will obviously massage your abdomen. So overall, it is very good for your overall health, both physical and mental health. And I think nobody should miss out on pranayama. 10 minutes of pranayama with complete focus and awareness will do wonders for you. And I think everyone must try doing it.
I think, Neelu, the overarching principle of pranayama is just taking things slowly and just being to, be calm and be relaxed. And I think that is really an important practice, considering that, we live in such a stressful environment now. But just to follow up on that, because there's another component of yoga, which is the hand gesture, the mudras. Like if you watch that on YouTube videos, you see a lot of these hand gestures. Can you tell us more about this?
The hand gestures, yes. Mudras, apart from yoga and pranayama, mudras are also very important part of yoga. And if we say universe, we all know that universe is made up of 5 elements. Similarly, our body is also made up of 5 elements, and each element is represented by each finger. Okay, and each element corresponds to one or the other body part or the organs. That means by manipulating our fingers or changing the position of fingers, we can actually enhance, increase, decrease, and balance the flow of prana according to the body needs. Ayurveda says any imbalance in all these elements will lead to diseases. And we can, with the help of mudras also, we can very well balance all these elements of our body. These are not only helpful for us, for healthy individuals, but people who are ill or they cannot do asanas or any type of other exercises, it is very helpful for them. Anytime they can just manipulate their fingers according to their body needs and apply that thing. And it will enhance, increase the flow of prana. And the other thing is that, that fingers are very much, our hands are very much connected with our brain. So any movement in the hand will definitely stimulate one or the other part of brain as well. I personally use it in conjunction with pranayama because it enhances the prana flow, or the pranayama enhances the effects of pranayama, I would say. And the other thing is that people use it in meditation also, just to increase their focus and concentration. So I think even mudras are very helpful if we do it on regular basis. Maybe 45 minutes a day in both the hands can do wonders.
But the interesting thing here, Neelu, is that, when for anyone who's watching this and they haven't come across of yoga practices and meditative practices, they're hearing all of these words: asana, pranayama, mudra. And I think one of the obvious question for them is, do they have to practice all of these principles of yoga to fully benefit from it?
All the principles of yoga, there are 8 limbs of yoga, I would say. But all the principles, yes, there are yama and niyamas. That means you have to follow certain things, steps. There are certain steps we need to follow. But in our regular, basically, what pranayama and meditation they intend to do is that all these things to lead you in a very blissful state and to connect yourself with the divine. It will help you out, all these things. But living in such an environment, it is really tough for us to leave everything, go somewhere and just completely focus on our body, which ancient yogis or rishis or sages used to do that. We have to do it here for us living in this world. We have to do and practice all these things. So instead of focusing on what is the ultimate aim, let us focus on our body and our happiness too. Healthy body is very important. If you are unhealthy, you will be unable to enjoy your life. So finally, the main goal or main purpose is to, even by practicing certain things, you can simply practice whatever suits you or whatever suits your body type. Because it is not necessary what suits me will suit you as well. So you should always listen to your body and work accordingly. But do it for 20 minutes in whatever way you can. And finally, you can keep yourself healthy and fit. And that is what we want in today's life, in today's world. It is the need of the hour because everybody wants to remain healthy and happy, but nobody wants to actually work on it. We take our health mostly for granted. And this is the high time now. Everybody should work upon themselves to keep their mind and body healthy.
Now, Neelu, here in the UK, there's a charity called Mental Health Foundation, and on one of their statistics, they said that 74% of UK population suffer from stress and anxiety. So I was wondering if, doing this pranayama would be able to somehow manage stress and anxiety.
Oh, yes, I will explain it how it works. Stress and anxiety can very well be managed by pranayama because mind and body are already connected, and breath is a link between our mind and body. So we can always use our breath to calm our minds. If you observe your breath when you are agitated or you are angry, how coarse and how erratic it becomes, and observe your breath when you are calm and relaxed, how it works, how smooth and rhythmically it goes, right? Then when mind can influence your breath, then breath can influence your mind too. It is a two-way street, how it works. And stress has a direct impact on our breath. Our breaths, usually when we are too stressed, our breath become more rapid and shallow. And the best part is that nature has given us with a very effective system in our inbuilt system, and that is our parasympathetic nervous system. And pranayama is one of the tools which will help us activate our parasympathetic nervous system. That is the rest and relax response. It will help you calming your mind. It will bring back the parameters to normal. Your BP will come back to normal. Anxiety, it will lower down your anxiety. And this is how it works. Suppose if you are in stress and you take a deep, long inhalation, deep, long, and slow exhalation, what will happen? This will, there is as it is in a controlled manner, there will be a break. It is not a continuous thing. There will be a small spaces between your breaths, and that space will be created in your thoughts as well, because they both are linked. And that breaking of thought pattern will lead you to the awareness of thoughts, and you will become aware. Remember, it is very essential for each one of us to let go of things and break the thinking pattern of ours. Because otherwise, if we keep thinking about all those things, whether it is stress, hurt, anxiety, if we are going through it, just break the pattern. Suppose if you are drinking coffee, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are drinking coffee and you happen to spill it on your clothes. If you wash it then and there will not be any stain left on it. But if you keep it for days together and then you try to wash it, you will struggle to remove the stain. But despite doing that, there is a possibility that the stain might remain on your clothes. And if that happens with the thought process also, you should break consciously, and with awareness you have to do it. You have to break that thought pattern and switch your focus. Of course, it is easier than said than done, I know, but it needs practice. This is how it works. And if one more thing I will tell you how to break that pattern of or switch your focus. We always say, people ask us that you do forward counting from 1 to 10. But I think it is very mechanical. Counting 1 to 10 will not switch your focus as much. But if you, instead of that, if you do backward counting, that is from 50 to 40, it will help you switch your focus. And you will definitely think about the numbers backward. And this will, again, help you break your thought pattern. And this is how it works.
I love those examples that you gave us, especially the coffee stain. Yeah, it's really important that we act with, I suppose, a sense of urgency, for lack of better word, when it comes to managing our stress and anxiety. Now, Neelu, when people visit your YouTube channel, they would have a sense of, you know, your expertise when it comes to meditation. So, what would you say is the most appropriate tool for meditation for anyone who's just, you know, trying to start with their meditation journey?
Meditation journey, yes. I think a meditation, as we all know, I mean, for personally, I'm telling for me, it is just focusing on something or some activity you are involved into. We cannot meditate or we cannot focus if your mind is not calm. So it has got certain steps which we need to follow, and we need to prepare ourselves for meditation. Suppose if a friend of mine comes and tell me, hey, Neelu, I'm under too much stress. I have heard a lot about meditation techniques. Please help me out with that. And if I make him sit in a very cozy room, very peaceful and calm, and I ask him to close his eyes and just focus in between the brows, will it be possible under stress? Not at all. He'll say, oh, what is this, Neelu? I'm stressed out and you are asking me to focus. It is not possible for me. Of course, it is not possible and practical as well. I understand. Hence, I'm saying it needs preparation. Just as a musician prepares himself for the orchestra, even we need to prepare ourselves, our mind and body, to focus. You need to practice yoga asanas on regular basis because it will help you to develop flexibility of mind and body, which is very essential. Keep practicing that. Practice pranayama. It will eventually make you calm down your system, calm your mind, and help you in focusing. And then you can start doing with meditation activities. People call it a technique, but actually for me, meditation is not a technique. It is the essence of yoga and pranayama, I would say, yoga asanas and pranayama. These things will eventually lead you to meditation. So you start with day-to-day activities, the daily activities. Suppose like drinking water, focus on that. If you're drinking water, focus on that. If you're having food, focus on that. Let me ask you, how many of us focus on our teeth while brushing our teeth? Our hands move on our teeth, but at the same time, our mind is also moving, thinking, oh, so many activities I have to do during the day. List of phone calls I have to make during the day. This is not how it goes. You cannot work on one day and say, oh, you have to work continuously on your body, on your mind. And the best example I can give you of meditation is a surgeon. He is in a complete state of meditation when he is operating because he cannot afford to lose his focus. It will of course cost patient's life, right? And how focused you need to be. See, we all know our mind is just like a monkey. It will keep jumping from one thought to another thought. So we need to first understand what is the purpose of meditation. The purpose of meditation is that we need to control or reduce the activity of our mind and become completely aware, self-aware. How this will happen? Suppose if you are doing certain activity, you will focus on that completely. That will shift your awareness to that particular thing. It will reduce the activity of mind as well at the same time. It will help you calming your system down because you're completely focused. So activity will get reduced. Let me give you an example regarding focus, how focused you should be. Suppose if I ask you to thread a needle, how focused you are while threading a needle that sometimes you're so focused that you even tend to hold your breath. That type of focus is required. But of course, it is not a one-day process. You need patience and you need to practice it with awareness. Consciously, you have to do it. I'm sharing this because this is what I personally practice in my day-to-day life. And I have felt the difference. And I think this is a very practical and feasible way to do it. And I think you should give it a try. Don't go by what I am saying, but just experiment it and feel the difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think the important message here is just we really have to, pay attention to the things that we're doing, because we live in a world that kind of over exaggerate what
Very true.
we can do when we multitask, when in fact a brain is not really designed to, to focus on so many things at once. But I think people would also be interested, Neelu, to hear from you, how have yoga and pranayama transformed you as a person?
Oh, yes. Yoga actually, a few years ago, I always used to fall sick. Every couple of months, I used to be down with a stomach infection, and I was literally fed up. Every time I was put on antibiotics. I was doing my routine work, but it was not with complete focus, or with not so much of interest I used to do, because my energy levels were down. I was literally irritated and fed up, both mentally and physically. It continued for almost 1.5 years. I thought, okay, let me consult a gastro. But before consulting a gastro, I thought, let me work on my core, because everything is related to core, only your gut. So with this intention, I just joined a yoga class in the vicinity and started working on my core by practicing asanas and pranayama. Initially, pranayama was very boring for me. It was too monotonous, and I somehow did not happen to like it initially. But when I started reading about yoga asanas and pranayama, my perspective completely changed. I become so much aware about while doing pranayama, and so focused and conscious that now it has become a regular practice for me. And this has not only helped me physically, but it has helped me mentally as well. I have become much more calmer. And till date, I don't remember when was the last time I got ill with stomach infection, touch wood. And the best part is that after seeing transformation in me, my husband and my one of my best friends also started doing yoga. And never ever thought that they would come into this field. But seeing the changes in me, they were also inspired to do yoga, and they still continue doing it. And I'm very happy for the same.
That's a very inspirational story, and of course, you've also written a number of articles about, how yoga and meditation could benefit people, and you also talk a lot about that on your YouTube channel. But essentially, what's your biggest takeaway? What's the message that you would like to convey to the viewers, Neelu?
The message that I would like to convey, everybody wants to be healthy and happy, right? But when it comes to working on it, nobody wants to work on it. Remember, nothing comes for free. You need to take efforts. You just can't pray to God and say, oh God, I want to be healthy and happy always. Please keep me healthy and happy, without taking any efforts. No, you have to work on it consistently. Whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes, do any sort of exercises you like to do. But don't forget to include pranayama. I'm repeating it again because this is the message I would like to convey. Please don't miss out on pranayama. It is very important part of yoga. And the second thing that I would like to say is, simple is beautiful. So lead a simple life, don't complicate it, and neither allow others to complicate it for you. Keep it simple, it will keep you happy and others happy too. Happiness is the need of the hour. If you are happy, you can share your happiness with others. So keep spreading your happiness, keep spreading your smiles and positivity around. And stay healthy, keep smiling, and stay fit as well.
Absolutely, that's a very lovely message, Nilu. Now, of course, as a yoga enthusiast, you're very familiar about it. But can you tell us some of the misconceptions about yoga or meditation? Because so some people, they have a wrong idea of what yoga is. They don't really understand what meditation is. So I suppose if you could identify one misconception and address that misconception.
See, yoga, people at looking at others on the Facebook or Instagram, whatever I mean, or any of the YouTube channels, they feel yoga means all those exotic or different poses that you can see. Yeah, everybody loves seeing or watching all these poses, but it is not everybody's cup of tea, I would say. So practice yoga asanas, simple yoga asanas according to your body needs. That is not the purpose of yoga, as I mentioned earlier. You need to focus whatever asana or whatever, if you are taking only, suppose if you are walking, just focus on whatever you are doing. That is yoga itself, focusing and calming your mind. Of course, what is yoga actually? Calming the mind is yoga, and not just standing on the head. This is the whole, all the purpose of yoga. And there are, regarding meditation, as you said, meditation people often refer to as different techniques are available in the market, and actually they are selling like hotcakes. But that is not the thing. You should always know the what is the purpose of meditation and what works for you the best. The example or the way I explain the meditation, that personally works for me. If some other thing or some other way works for you, that is good enough. You don't have to listen to people all around you how to do meditation. Yoga asanas and these pranayama will eventually lead you to meditation. If you take stress, no, I have to learn meditation, I have to learn meditation, that will never happen. You will become more stressed. Let it come on its own. Understand your body needs, understand yourself first, understand your mind, understand your body. Try to balance your mind, body, and breath through various asanas. This is all about. So meditation is not something you have to sit in a place. For me, I'm saying sit in a place and just keep chanting mantras or whatever it is. Even if you're chanting mantras, you need focus on that. So if you start it with different steps, it will eventually lead you to meditation. That means if you are every day, if you are focusing on every activity you are doing, which I personally do, you can be in the meditative state throughout the day if you want. Because of course, we need to calm our mind. That is the main purpose.
Well, thank you for kind of educating us about what the real purpose of yoga and meditation is. And of course, for anyone who wants to learn more about that, they can just go ahead and check your YouTube channel. Now, let's pivot the conversation away from yoga and meditation because we're about to wrap up. So I just want to learn more about you as a person, Neelu. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, what would you say are the highlights of your career so far, whether as a yoga enthusiast or whether as a lifelong educator? What's the biggest highlight?
Biggest highlight would be, yes, yoga. And biggest highlight is I'm a good teacher, I think. And I love teaching. And yes, I'm because totally focused and into yoga and pranayama. So I think everything is moves around for me, yoga and pranayama in every form, whether it is my daily activities or any other thing you would say. So that is the highlight. Actually, I would call it a highlight because I do it in my daily life. I practice it every day in my activities. So that itself, life itself is yoga, and life itself is a journey. We are on the path of yoga.
Okay. And what were you afraid of as a child?
As a child, yes, I was always afraid of interacting with people. As I'm an only child actually, so interaction was a big problem or issue from me. I always lived in a cocoon sort of thing. So eventually, when I started teaching and going out, that hitch was gone a bit. This was the biggest fear I had in my this thing as a childhood.
Okay. And what is your favorite word in another language?
Favorite
Favorite word in another language?
in another language, favorite word,
Yes.
yoga.
Okay. And if you weren't a yoga enthusiast, what would you have pursued in your life? If you didn't do what you're doing, what would Neelu have
Yeah.
done?
I have been, of course, a teacher, I think, because I love teaching, and I would have certainly been a teacher.
Okay. And finally, the floor is all yours, Neelu. Tell us what else is in the pipeline. Do you have any upcoming projects? Do you have any writing projects? And if people wanted to reach out to you, remind us again of your YouTube channel and what platforms can we get in touch with you at?
Yeah, you can. Yes, of course, I have a YouTube channel, and the link, I'll be sharing the link then. And of course, articles, and thank you for republishing my articles as well. I'm still writing, and I will continue writing articles. And this is the nothing as such on my pipeline yet. I will take things as it comes to me. I have
Okay.
not yet planned anything, as this was not planned, nothing, nor even a YouTube channel, nothing was planned, because as I mentioned, I was really I didn't even had WhatsApp and all. So I was a different type of person few years ago, and now I'm completely a transformed person. So I will take as things come to me.
Definitely, and of course, with your passion in yoga, I'm sure a lot of opportunities will come on your way. And of course, for anyone who wants to, learn more about your yoga and meditation, they can just check your YouTube channel and all of the articles that you've written. Well, Neelu, thank you so much for joining me here on the DRH show. It's lovely talking to you,
Thank
and
you so much. And it was pleasure talking to you indeed. Namaskar.
yeah, thank you, and I look forward to hearing more about your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Same here, Dennis. And thank you for all your time. Thanks.